This is a Headgum podcast.
Do you got a first aid kit handy? Do you know how to patch up a wound? Tell me, are you patient, understanding? 'Cause I might need some time to clear the hole in my heart, and I tried every remedy and nothing seems to work for me. Oh, baby, this situation's driving me crazy, and I really wanna be your lady. But the one before you left me so damaged, and I thought that I should let you know. That was my rendition of Damaged by Danity Kane, which honestly maybe slaps harder than the original. The year is 2009. And I know what you're thinking, Greta, we've been in 2009 many times before. So I'm going to hit you with a different list. And I'm going to hit you with Rolling Stone's 10 best movies of 2009 to get us in the motherfucking mood. All right. Number 10 on their list is a movie called The Messenger. Never seen it, starring Ben Foster and Woody Harrelson as soldiers. And we will be asking our guests if they've seen any of these movies. Number 9, 500 Days of Summer. Of course, I am a Joe Go head. I love Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He could fuck me. Yeah, sorry, don't make that face, Tevi. Yeah, I love Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And you know what? Some might say this is peak Zoe. Peak. Number 8, District 9. A movie I have never seen. But here it says, quote, here's the blockbuster that deserves one of those 10 Oscar spots for Best Picture. Apparently, it's supposed to be really good. I've not seen it. Number 7, A Serious Man. I did love this film. A Coen Brothers flick. We can't go wrong. Number 6, Where the Wild Things Are. I had no idea that the live action came out in 2009. Number 5, an absolute smash, Up. Wrecked me, that film. Still does. Number 4, An Education. A movie that I didn't see. My guest is nodding their head they did. We'll get to that in about 30 seconds. Number 3, The Hurt Locker. Obviously, seen it. Jeremy Renner. I feel like that was my first time really experiencing the je ne sais quoi of Jeremy Renner. Am I a Renaissance woman? Maybe. Oh, number 2, Up in the Air. I loved that movie. George Clooney, Anna Kendrick, a Jason Reitman flick. Great movie. And then number 1, according to Rolling Stone, was Precious, based on the novel Push by Sapphire, which was an incredibly moving film. And where are we when District 9 hit theaters? Where are we when we are watching The Hurt Locker, when we are watching An Education? We are in Newark, Delaware, honey, and we are Sudi Green. Sudi.
Hi.
What a capital T treat to have you on the pod.
Who's gonna love me?
What's that from?
Precious.
Oh, yeah.
Who's gonna love me?
That's a very good...
Thank you.
An NYU education right there.
Absolutely.
Oh my God. Sudi, do you remember seeing any of those films in high school?
Yes, I did see District 9.
You did?
Yeah, I did, and it was like, it was the director of Lord of the Rings, Peter Jackson.
Okay.
Peter Jackson.
Okay.
And so that was actually kind of huge for me. Had to sort of like follow the oeuvre of my LOTR king, and it was like South Africa dystopia. Like it was having a lot of like colonial themes, but also was in the future. And then also, do you remember the South African band Die Antwoord?
Yeah.
With Yolanda Fasting.
Yeah.
Kind of talk like that.
Yes.
I think they were in it.
And then they later got canceled for being like Nazis or something.
Oh, fuck, really?
Yeah.
All right, take it back. Cut it all out. Edit it all out. Edit it all out. But also, like, not really surprising considering, like, the haircuts.
And the history. There's a lot of things. It's very loaded, you know?
Now that I'm actually spouted out all of those hashtag facts.
Yeah.
So, because I am kind of a facts person, well, I'm just, okay, sorry to brag, know a lot, but also have huge blind spots. But when I know something about something, I feel like you're kind of like this too. When you have like a fun fact, you like can't, you like have to, you're like, you get like ants in your pants and you're like, but also did you know?
Yeah. I'm a fact head as well.
Yeah.
I love a factoid.
Absolutely. And then I've just had so many boyfriends just be like, are you sure?
Oh, I hate that.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure.
It's like, I have an idea, honey. How about I remove your ribs so you can suck your own dick?
Honey, say that. And that's why I'm always, I don't even have to say that to any man that I'm sleeping with. I just say rib, and they know what I'm talking about. And it's not Adam and Eve, babe. It's S and D's. It's not Adam and Eve, it's S and D's.
Sudi. Oh, I love it already.
Okay, thank you.
Sudi, what was going on with you in high school? What was the vibe like? What was your high school like? Who was Sudi Green in high school? Tell me what was going on. I feel fairly 100% positive you were an excellent student across the board. So,
absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, I'm not
had to be. Iranian mother had to be.
Yes.
No, when you asked me what was going on with me in high school, the first word that came to my mind was teeth.
Teeth.
I had the most jacked teeth in the world. Okay, so like I was missing, this is important because it sets the scene for like my entire experience and like how honestly miracles happen every day that I functioned with these teeth and like actually like got to have sex and like have friends even though I had these teeth.
You had sex in high school?
Uh-huh.
Okay, we're gonna get to that.
Absolutely we are. Rib!
Rib!
Okay, so I was born with 9 missing adult teeth.
Really?
Only babies in the mouth.
Where were the 9 missing teeth? Where, like, what teeth were the ones that were missing?
Well, 4 of them were wisdom teeth.
Okay.
So never had wisdom teeth.
Okay.
And then, well, if you look at my current smile and you see some teeth look a little different than the others, those are the ones that weren't missing. There. Because we had to get implants.
Wow.
I had to get implants.
So when did you get your first set of implants? In high school?
Well, this was the issue. So they first had to make, so my teeth were fully jacked. I had like gray baby teeth. And then also just some of the baby teeth fell out and there was nothing behind them. So I had these gaps. So I had to get first braces, I think like freshman, sophomore year. Like summer after 8th grade. I got braces that were like literally like 2 braces in the front, 2 teeth. And then like a gap of 2 teeth right in the front with like a coil in it. Just gum. I'm giving you gum. And then sophomore year, I had a retainer with fake teeth in it. So that was great. But I kind of didn't I thought it was embarrassing to take the fake tooth retainer in and out at lunch. So then I decided to just go all gum all the time.
But you were going to say keep the retainer in.
No! No, babe. Just kind of fuck the retainer. Retainer's actually for nighttime now.
Yeah.
And then, like, in my senior photo, I was, like, tried to make the photographer, like, switch sides because I had one side that didn't have the gum and then one side that just had, like, 2 giant missing teeth in the front. And he was like, no, everybody's going this way. Well, this was the bad side, so he was like,
so would you smile without teeth? You smile?
No, I would honestly smile with teeth.
I love that.
I think it was like I was so self-conscious about it, but then at a certain point, I disassociated so hard from my own mouth. And then my parents were like, okay, I got some implants. I've had to get the 2 right in the front. That was like, okay, we have to get these. So I got those. But then I needed like 3 other implants. But my parents were like, do you want to go to college or do you want your teeth fixed?
I mean, honestly, implants cost as much as like a tuition.
So much money. And it also hit like right when I was about to go to college and I was like, honey, NYU ain't cheap. I'll figure it out later.
Yeah, and you did.
And I did, and I literally just at Christmas time bought myself a new tooth.
That's so
on the bottom.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my last one. I got myself.
You got
Santa brought me a tooth.
Set.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really exciting.
And I pay for it myself.
That's
girl boss.
Girl boss vibes for sure.
Girl boss bought my own tooth.
Sudi, I want you to know that I also had a coil brace missing tooth when I was a senior in high school.
So rough.
I was missing this tooth, my left canine, and I had a baby tooth that was underneath it, though. It just, like, was not coming down. So basically, they had to pull my baby tooth that was left there. And then I had, like, that coil springy thingy that kind of, like, pulled the tooth down from the gum.
It's so rude when they break out the coil.
I know, the coil's sick. And if you've never experienced the coil in your mouth, you're actually not a humble person.
You're not humble, you're not grounded.
You're not grounded.
And you don't know your own privilege.
You really don't.
So you're blindingly unaware of your own privilege.
Absolutely, 100%. I could not stand by a statement more other than rib.
This is interesting because you strike me as a person who was like, never needed braces.
No, I had front 4 braces in 4th grade. And
what do you mean front 4?
Literally only my front 4 teeth had braces.
Weren't you just like, what's the point then?
Yeah, I mean, kind of, but my
that sounds like a scam. That sounds like a money grabber.
It probably was.
They saw your mom's bag and they were like, let's just give her the front 4.
You know that I was scammed by a dentist that, like, made me fully, like, addicted to laughing gas, and he would, like, smoke cigarettes in his office. But my orthodontist, gave me front 4 braces because, supposedly, my teeth were so gapped, like I had such a huge gap that they needed to bring them closer together to make room for my other teeth to come down, which I guess, like, does make sense when you think about it. But in the 4th grade, I liked having the braces because then I could, you know, have color coordinate.
Yeah, I get the colors.
One
time I did black and orange for Halloween.
Oh, I mean, it was always a holiday theme.
Oh,
yeah.
Psycho vibes.
I would do blue and white for Hanukkah, green and red for Christmas.
Oh, gorgeous.
I think I also did black and orange for Halloween.
You respected all of the religions with your braces.
I saw my braces were non-denominational, babe.
That's beautiful.
They were beautiful.
Unitarian braces.
It was kind of the Universal Life Church of braces. And then I didn't have anything for a long time until my senior year when they were like, this tooth is not coming out.
They were like, well, girl, you want to go to college and you want to bangarang and look gorgeous in your senior prom photos? Well, we're putting one more brace on you.
Exactly.
And guess what, girl? Coil.
Exactly. Coil. Hitting you with that coil. And then they gave me a retainer with a tooth in it because I had to do Invisalign.
I want a retainer with a tooth in it now.
Pop that thing in and out. I have pictures of me wasted at a Kanye West concert with Patrick Foley, and my missing tooth is out. And I'm like...
Shout out to Patrick Foley.
Shout out to Patrick Foley.
What year was that?
2007?
Oh my God. Remember when Kanye hit the scene and we were like, what is going on? This is so new.
Yes.
This sound is so new. I just remember like a rapper in a polo shirt.
I know.
I think this might be for me. Like, psycho.
What kind of music were you into?
I was into, like, all of the ladies that were singing like squirrels. I was into Joanna Newsom, the Queen Squirrel Girl. I was into Mira, Cat Power. Really into Fleet Foxes. That album was very big my senior years.
Yes.
White Stripes.
Shout out to Karen O, kind of like
absolutely
determined a lot for me with my style.
My first concert was, you did have Karen O'Hare.
Yeah.
My first concert was
Karen O'Hare right behind you. There's me in the frame.
Aww. Heads will roll, honey.
Yeah. Gold line, won't you tell me where the light is? I used to drive to school like brooding to that song every single day.
I was like in my room absolutely angry about nothing listening to her music. Like, I want a date with the night. Like, where am I going? I don't have a date with the night, honey.
Was your high school cliquey?
Not in an insane way. I went to a very big public high school in Newark. It was like a giant high school. And there were definitely, like, cliques. I don't know. There were kind of cliques, but I don't think that it was that crazy. There were social groups for sure, but I think that there was intermingling in certain scenarios. It was just basically like this huge school full of kids who kind of like, it was, who knew if you cared about high school? People were just trying to survive. Like, if you could get into a college, everybody was like, you're fine, we're not worrying about you. Like, we need to like keep the primary goal of my high school was to actually just keep kids in high school and get them to graduate. And so you're sort of like, when everybody's just kind of like triaging in that way, then if you're an honors student, which is like, we basically just had regular school and then honors if you like slightly cared about your education. Mm-hmm. And so if you were an honors student, it was just kind of like, there you go, babe.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Well, did you have bullies?
Maybe I was the bully. I don't know if we had bullies. I'm sure that kids did get I know that kids got bullied. I feel like my strategy was always to be mean and funny, and like any girl that would bully me, I would just like be like, I'm meaner than you, and like don't like fuck with me. Like, right. I'll make everybody laugh about you in like truly 1 second. And so, I mean, I'm sure there were bullies. It was probably me. Probably thought I was being so funny, and then somebody like goes home and cries. And I'm like, what? Everybody was laughing.
And to this day, they're like in therapy being like, there was this one girl and now she's won a bunch of Emmys and she's just a big old bully and no one knows.
And then I would be like, I've never won an Emmy. I've been nominated several times, but I never won. So I you're wrong. There was a girl in my senior year in my improv group. Sorry. There was a girl in my improv group who told me that if she were me, she would use her powers for good and not for evil, and that I was using my powers for evil.
Oh my God.
And my powers were being like the person that like in the improv group that like decided like who was doing whose line is it anyway games.
That is very funny.
And she hadn't come to rehearsals, and so I only put her in one.
Well, I mean, kind of fair. When you don't come to rehearsal, you got to be coming to rehearsal.
She was an incredible violinist, and that was her priority. Oh. And I was like, okay, well,
go play violin then.
Go play violin then, honey.
That violin ain't gonna strum itself. Wow. Were you in theater?
My school didn't have a theater program.
Really?
Yeah, there was one my freshman year, and then we did comedy. We had no money for rights to musicals that anybody would want to do. There was no budget. And so also my freshman year of high school, my school district got audited by the state because there was like some like fucked up money stuff. So they really like, we didn't have paper.
Oh my God.
So like they bought all the teachers' projectors, and then they would put the homework up on a projector and you had to copy it down because they didn't make copies because they didn't have paper.
That's crazy.
People need to pay property taxes. This is what the point of this story is. It's like, please, I don't care if your kids go to the nicest private school. Please pay your property taxes so that
kids can have paper.
Kids can have paper.
How long did that last for?
All of high school.
All of high school, you did not have paper.
Well, we had the paper that were like in our notebooks, but there were no worksheets handed out. It was not you would do questions out of like the textbook.
Right.
I mean, they would have paper for tests. So like if you had to take like a bio quiz, there would be a printed out quiz that the teacher had made. But even then, like I remember sometimes it being like up on the board and you'd have to copy it down.
Oh my God. That's crazy.
So I went to a big sports high school, and also I think that like, you know, in retrospect, I was very angsty, like nobody cares about the arts. But it was like sports was what actually was keeping kids in high school.
Right.
Like it was looking around like the thing that people cared about, and the thing that like kids would literally show up to class because then they could play baseball if they showed up to class.
And were the games like attended by the town?
Oh, it was Friday Night Lights.
Wow.
It was full James Vanderbeek, I don't want your life. Like it was like that. Varsity
Maxon.
Blues. What is that?
James Vanderbeek's character's name in Varsity Blues.
I don't want your laugh.
Yeah.
Remember the bikini made out of whipped cream?
Bikini, Allie Larder. Probably her most iconic role.
Wow.
Amy Smart.
Amy Smart.
Yep.
Oh my god.
I know that movie.
God bless her.
God bless Amy Smart. Truly, God bless Amy Smart.
God bless her.
I mean, I loved that movie. My high school was like bad at sports, good at arts.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
we didn't even have a football team.
You didn't have a football team?
No.
Lame.
It was lame. We didn't have a football team. Did you go to the games?
I went to the games like almost every Friday night. And
Did you guys drink? Were
Eventually,
you drinking in high school? Because you're a good student. You were like in extracurriculars and stuff.
Yes, I was. I got really into weed and made it my entire personality.
Yes,
like I would say about sophomore year.
Wow.
And it was easier to get weed than it was to get alcohol. Like
really?
Yeah, because there was an illegal system to get weed. There was a structure.
Right.
This is why people need to pay their property taxes. Because there was a structure and a system for us to get weed, and there was no established structure for us to get alcohol.
Who would you get weed from?
Oh, God. Who would I buy weed from? I would always get it through, like, a boyfriend, basically.
And who was the first person you smoked pot with?
My sister. So, my sophomore year, and I was very much like my freshman year, I was like, I'm not going to do drugs because I care about being in control. That was, like, my line. What the fuck was I doing? So, my sister went to Smith. She's 4 years older than me. My sister went to Smith College, which is an all-women's college in Western Massachusetts. And it was all women. And so this is what happened. My sister, I show up. She was like good in high school. I show up to college. I'm like, you drink and you smoke weed? Like, what happened to you? And she was like, fucking chill out. And I was immediately like, you're right. I'm lame.
Yeah.
Because she was like such a big influence on me. Like it took zero resistance. So one of her friends, again, all women's college. I'm like living in a beautiful, like safe womb of like, you know, girls with baby bangs. And my sister's friend had this French boyfriend that was visiting. It was so cute. His name was Arnaud. And it was spelled like Arno, but you had to say it like Arnaud. Oh my God. And he was like, we're gonna smoke. And I was like, yeah, me too, man. He's so cute. He's so French. And then he lied to me and he said, we were going to a concert or something. And he said to me that it was a spliff, that it was half tobacco and half weed.
And at this point, had you smoked a cigarette?
No, I never smoked anything. And so I actually can't remember if I actually, but it wasn't. Then later my sister told me that it was actually all weed.
Sure.
And she said to me, she was like, you're going to do it eventually. You should do it here with like me and like, you know what I mean? In the safe space, like literally just surrounded by girls dressed like Hannah from Girls. Like, you know, it was just very peak that.
Yes.
And so, yeah. And then after that, I was like, okay, everything's funnier and more fun when you're high.
And then you loved it.
Yeah. And then that was what I would do at football games. I would get stoned and like talk
that.
to my teachers. And they were like, I thought they couldn't smell it on me. I'm like, such an idiot.
That would be me in high school, except with cigarettes. I mean, and pot, but I also smoked cigarettes. And I remember, like, we used to go to the alley to smoke, and then we'd come back, and you reek of cigarettes when you smoke cigarettes. You cannot hide it.
No
and you
way.
also reek of weed when you smoke weed.
I know.
So, like, it must have just been, like, a drove of teens coming back from lunch or coming back from break, just, like, reeking of smoke.
Oh, my God. I mean, like, the amount that my parents knew that I thought,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I would just be like, I'm going on a drive with my friends.
Yeah.
I was going on a ride in the woods to smoke in a car that a 17-year-old was driving.
Yeah.
Like, psycho.
Like, we're so lucky that we're alive.
I say that every day.
I really feel that way. Like, when teens and driving, just across the board. I mean, there are terrible drivers no matter what age, but like, well, yeah, when you're like 16 years old, hotboxing your car, and then you're gonna like drive to Chipotle after, it's a miracle that you make it.
Thank God for the suburbs. That's all. It's
Yeah.
like, thank God that we were like in some sort of like, can you imagine doing that and driving through LA traffic?
I was in DC.
Way.
I was weaving in and out
no,
of
that's
Georgetown
cuckoo.
tiny streets. I don't know how I didn't like knock off a side view mirror.
I don't know how I didn't run over the damn Bush daughters. Honey.
And the Bush daughters should be thanking God every day I didn't hit them with my Mini Cooper.
How do we feel about Jenna? Do we forgive everything? I don't know.
At this point, we have so many other, like, super villains in the mix that it's almost like...
I loved Kathy Lee and Hoda, and now that I see Jenna Bush and Hoda, I'm just like, can't get fully on board.
It's a weird mix.
And also, like, she can't disavow.
No.
She can't.
No, she can't.
Even if she wanted to.
I know. It's like being part of the royal family. You gotta either pull a Harry and Meghan and fully get out. She's never going to.
I can't get on. You know, I'm just gonna say, I can't get on board for Jenna on the Today Show. I just can't.
And that's fine. You don't have to. Not on this podcast.
I will smile at Hoda, but I'm not smiling at Jenna.
Was the Today Show, because the Today Show is like really a part of my life in high school and all of growing up, just like waking up to that in the morning. Did your parents put it on every morning?
We were not a Today Show family. We were definitely an NPR Oprah family.
Yes, okay.
Definitely NPR in the morning.
Yeah.
Hearing that kind of blasting from the kitchen.
My mom would always have NPR going in her car.
Yeah.
And it would immediately put me to sleep. It was like, my mom thought I was narcoleptic for like a solid month because I would just get into the car and she'd be like, how are you? And I'd be like, because like Terry Gross's voice would be in the background and I would just be like, to me, that's like Klonopin.
I'm such a good sleeper in general. And then I brought this up to my sister and she was like, that's a trauma response. And I was like, call my ass out. And she was like, anytime you get yelled at, anytime like, you know, our parents would get in a fight or whatever, you'd be asleep. And I remember I would go and I would, I mean, like, not that anything terrible happened in my childhood. This is just like normal stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you know. And she was like, and I would go check on you to see if you're okay. And I knew you'd be asleep. And I was like, okay, I'm just like talking about like how I'm good on planes.
She's like, it's a trauma response.
It's a trauma response. But she's probably right.
I mean, yeah, there's truth.
NPR. Terry
trauma
Gross
response.
Terry Gross, I fall asleep. That's a trauma response.
I mean, it probably was, to be honest with you. So you had boyfriends in high school.
Yeah.
Multiple.
Like 1.5, I would say.
Serious?
I had one serious.
Like you thought to yourself, wow, I'm gonna marry this person.
No, I was too mature for that. I was like, this is a good high school relationship. I feel safe enough to lose my virginity, and now I will go to college single.
Yeah, but having done what I wanted to do, which was lose my virginity.
Lose my virginity to a safe, sweet man.
Was that a goal of yours in high school? Were you like, I refuse to go to college a virgin?
Yes. I mean, I was very sexually empowered, I feel like, because I had like a feminist mom, and so... And also, like, my friends, like, we were all kind of like, we're going to wait for the right person, but then we are going to have sex. Like, it was very kind of we had somehow the good messaging got in there. And so, I, like, had a boyfriend my senior year. I mean, we were in love. I felt very in love with him. And
That's
then
so nice.
We made love, and I thought that we had sex, and then turns out that we didn't fully penetrate, and then next time we had sex in my basement and there was blood everywhere.
Really?
There was blood. Oh my god.
Wait, so the first time he entered you, but not fully.
The first time it was like so much effort to get the P in the V. And we didn't know what we were doing.
Right.
And I remember it like hurt and we didn't, and it hurt and we didn't. And then finally there was like enough pumping and like he came also like with a condom on, like, you know what I mean, like
a lot. You were being responsible.
We were being so responsible, except the fact that I wasn't studying for my psych midterm, but and so, you know, then it was like we did it. And
where was it?
It was in his bedroom. We had half days during midterms and finals to study. So you would take
Classic.
2 midterms in the morning and then you would study or go lose your virginity.
Love.
And then we were cuddling and I was like, okay, well, I have to go to my Model UN meeting because I run them. And so I'm just going to leave. So then I like called my friend on my way to Model UN and I was like, I did it. I lost it. And she was like, oh my God, tell me everything. And I was like, well, I just pulled into the Y and I'm running late. So I'll tell you later.
That's really funny.
And then the next time we hung out, we were like, great, now we're sexual partners. Now we have sex. We go into my basement, which was not like a nice finished basement. It was like a nasty basement. Like, lay down a blanket and get to town. And then he gets up and there is blood all over the floor and all over his shirt. And he had to, like, borrow, like, a speech and debate t-shirt.
Oh.
to wear home.
No.
Yeah.
And that hurt. Then you were like, oh, now I've officially actually had sex.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Oh my God.
I know. And then since then, basically, sex has been perfect every time.
I love that. Me too.
Yeah. So great.
I literally come every single time I've had sex since I started having sex.
Painless, constant coming.
And like, always
always satisfying and with somebody you love.
With someone I love. Get treated really great and really nice.
Every single time.
Every single time.
Eye contact plus kissing.
Yeah, and the person that's fucking me, insanely hot.
Oh yeah, every time they're insanely hot.
Huge
and
dick.
every time they think I'm hot.
Yeah.
And the dick is huge.
The dick is huge and fully hard and erect.
100%.
Yeah.
And also sober every time.
Yeah. Sober as a stick. Sober as a goddamn stick.
Our eyes are bleeding.
I don't think I started having like sober sex until I got married.
I literally just had sober sex for like the first time in months the other day, and I was like, is this the hack?
Yeah. It is. It's like so much better, but like when you're like dating, especially in New York, like in your early 20s, you're not having sober sex.
And also it's like, even if you're not drunkety drunk, it's like late at night too. And I feel like the combination of like 2 cocktails and it being like 1 a.m.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I'm in a fugue state.
I don't remember anything.
I don't remember sex. I don't remember.
Well, if I'm awake past midnight, I'm blacked out. That's basically what
Even
it is.
if the eyes are open, it's past midnight, nobody's home.
Yeah, I'm narcoleptic.
You're narcoleptic.
It's true.
And that's a trauma response.
I mean, I've said this. I do need to make merch for this podcast. I don't think I can make sweatshirts that say high school sex is bad because I don't think that.
Because Christians will kind of take the message. Will come to me.
We can make a sweatshirt that says rib.
That's good.
Which we should.
Yeah, rib is good.
Rib is good.
Should make rib a thing.
Yeah,
here.
rib should be a thing. But I do stand by the fact that, you know, I was someone that was like very sexually active in high school, trauma response. And and it was all bad. Like,
but don't you remember, okay, yes, the sex part was not good, but you know what was good? Making out for hours and it being a full fucking, it being like Dial soap down there. Like, you remember those BP oil spill commercials where they were like using the Dawn and the duck is all that was in my fucking pants. And I was like, I would get so fucking wet, not know what to do with myself. I was so wet because I was making out and grinding with no release.
Yeah.
And I thought that's what sex was. I really did. I was like, sex is great because that part was fun. I mean, like, being so turned on for that long.
Turned on and turned out.
I wasn't getting turned out. That was the problem. That's why I was so turned on.
I mean, I do the makeouts, the anticipation, those things that like exist in high school.
People don't make out anymore.
Sudi, when we're off air, I'm going to tell you my little theory about that because I'm going to write an article about it.
You should.
I pitched it. I'm literally we have lost the art of making out because we don't even see it in mainstream blockbuster movies anymore. Like, that's not even a part. No, that's not even a part of like what we're intaking culturally. Where for us, like, the upside down Spider-Man kiss, the Rachel McAdams and Ryan Gosling kissing in The Notebook, even like
Top Gun when they do the like open
Top
mouth.
Gun, also making out on the motorcycle in that movie. Like, there's so many in Ghost. I mean, there's so many iconic movie makeout moments, and they've just stopped. And like,
do you think that you blame the intimacy coordinators?
I blame all of the intimacy coordinators. I blame all of the
people. We should make a movie that's promises audiences a lot of kissing.
I want to make a movie just called The Makeout, and you just get to, it's basically like porn with no penetration, no nipple, no nothing, just people making out. There has to be makeout
I
fetish.
would pay so much money to see hot people make out.
Me too. Well, that's the fun in, like, you know, watching Transformers. I mean,
I thought you were gonna say real couples porn.
No, well, real couples
That's
porn.
The nice thing about when
it's nice.
It's a real couples they kiss.
Well, some might say at the time, Megan Fox, Shia LaBeouf were they a real couple.
Oh yeah.
But I remember like frothing watching that movie.
You know what was a big frother for me?
What?
That was recent was Bridgerton season 2.
Oh,
that's I rewound. Because there's so much anticipation, and then when they finally do it, I had to watch a couple of times. And there's a certain scene in the finale. Did you watch?
No, but you can spoil it.
Well,
spoiler alert: Bridgerton season 2. Fast forward if you care.
Gorgeous. This is not a spoiler. Mouth to nipple action.
We love that.
And it made me want to go back in time.
What was your number one horny movie in high school? When I would watch Now and Then, for example, maybe when I was in like 5th or 6th grade.
Devon Sawa,
Kiss.
Can I kiss you?
Yeah.
Can I kiss you? And then they kiss and then they drink the Coke.
Yeah.
Can I kiss you?
Yeah. That was huge for me.
So cute, Devon Sawa.
Huge.
Well, okay. I think The Notebook was big. I think that scene where like they lose their V to each other, that was formative. I also started watching The L Word.
Oh, Sudi. The L Word was my bone zone. I would have
that is a sexy
the most graphic dreams to Shane, just like fingering the fuck out of me.
What was it? Thus Spoke Zarathustra or whatever? The fucking first season where that girl is like, I have no memory really of it.
Where the girl what?
The straight girl like connects intellectually with that like beautiful like French gay woman.
Oh yeah.
And then she's like fully turned.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember getting those Showtime box set DVDs from the library and like watching them with my sister and us both sitting there like.
Yeah. No, that show made me.
That's a sexy show.
Oh my god, it's a sexy. The original. I do want to say, did audition twice for L Word Next Gen. Didn't book, but am available. Okay, will show tit and clit. Anyway, yeah, it's.
I always forget. Even like when I'm writing stuff, I always forget that when people haven't kissed. And then when they do kiss, that is the most important thing that will ever happen in a film.
Oh, yeah.
I always forget that, where it's like the tension, the build. Like, it is so, like, significant when it's like, and then they finally boned.
Yeah.
That's perfect. All movies should be that.
I know.
And that isn't a lot of movies, but no, I wish that it was more.
It's really not anymore. I feel like it's not. I feel like it's missing. I feel like in high school, we had, like, a really hefty dose of it. And then... Like, even when we watched Bring It On and we got to watch fucking Miss Dunst make out with Mr. Bradford.
That was huge.
Huge.
When a preppy girl loved the indie guy. Honey. I'm Dawn. I'm the duck in the Dawn commercial.
It doesn't get any better than
just
that.
Just grease and soap.
When you look back in high school, is there a moment for you that is like quintessential Sudi Green?
Yes.
Do tell.
I'm just going off of pure instinct.
Please.
Left my Euro trip early to go home to Delaware for a debate conference. And that's it. That's all.
Did you win debate?
Say. Yes, I went. Well, I was in this very into Model UN and another program that was like Model UN, but was like state legislative called Youth and Government, and I was to it.
I was very into, because I was not a big extracurricular person at all in my high school, but I loved Harvard Model Congress.
This is like the same thing.
Yeah, and I loved it because I did not get to act at my high school, but I got to act when we would do mock trial.
All of that speech and debate shit is such a Venn diagram with theater kids because it's you can be a really good bullshitter. Mm-hmm. You have to basically just be able to think on your feet and be like charismatic.
Yeah.
And then people like vote for you.
I love that.
So I left my Euro trip my junior year because that would be the conference that I would run for youth governor so that I could be youth governor of my state my senior year.
And you became youth governor of the state of Delaware.
Oh, yes, I was the youth governor, and then I went to the national conference, and then I was elected to be one of 6 high school seniors that would come back as freshmen in college and preside over the debates at a thing called CONA, Conference on National Affairs. It's a YMCA program. It was a giant part of my life.
Did you do it your freshman year?
I went back and it was like, I would always be so obsessed with this debate conference that was all of the best kids from all across the state. So you would be like debating like true conservative whack job kids from Texas, but then like you'd be like low key he's kind of hot and then like grind on him on a dance. Like it was like this very psycho. I remember there was like a ceremony at the end of this conference where we would have to like pledge our allegiance to like the nation, which is like crazy for me to think about because I'm like not a nationalist in any way. And so my senior year, I got picked to be a presiding officer and come back to this conference in North Carolina and preside over like a 500 kid debate for 4 days. And it was so fascinating because it was like such a giant accomplishment for me. And I was so proud that I had done it. And then a year of New York. And then I come back to like Southern Belles and, you know, Gentlemen in Seersucker kind of and respectability politics. And also there was just like, you know, it was a microcosm of all of the problems in this world. And they like kind of just came forward in this thing. And I was just like, fuck this. I'm in New York now. Like, I smoke cigarettes. Like, fucking 8th Street. Ever heard of it? I take the Q. Like, I don't want.
Catch me on St. Mark's, honey, getting my belly button pierced. I gotta go.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is, like, not real New York either.
No, it's not.
Not. I was like, have you ever had Pinkberry?
You're like, I have one word for you. O Cafe, 12th Street and 6th Avenue, babe.
I have one word for you, except it's $2 pizza. My guy.
2 bros.
So by all means, let's debate whether we should close Guantanamo. Have seen 2 Broadway shows this year. So
I have eaten at Waverly Diner.
Ever heard of it?
Ever heard of that?
Yeah,
wow.
But I guess let's debate state-sponsored abortion.
Crazy. I mean, I do love that you went back because I feel like so many people would be like, fuck that, I'm not going back.
I went back like with all of my heart in it. And then once I was there, it was just kind of like
the curtain had dropped.
And because you know that there were kids that went every year and then became advisors and all of that stuff, which is like great.
Yeah.
But I think that I had gone into a completely different world. And then I came back and I just sort of like was like, I didn't want to interact with people who were like young Republicans. I just kind of was like, this is actually this like equal sidism and like we're all kind of communing in the discourse and stuff. I think I was just older and I was like, I think that this is all bullshit and I think that like some of these views are just fucking evil.
Yeah.
And I don't really like want to debate them.
Yeah. That's weird. Weird that you wouldn't want to spend time around a bunch of young Republicans.
That's weird.
That's really weird.
That's weird.
I love spending time around pro-life 15-year-olds.
So crazy to see 17-year-olds in seersucker. Like, you know, like leading us in prayer. And I was like, but also like my stereo, I would go there, you know, and be like, I'm a liberal bitch and I'm gonna. And, you know, I was filling that stereotype. They were like, okay, Maddow.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're right.
Yeah, they're like, no thank you to that Urban Outfitters shopping freakazoid. Oh my God, is that a knock I hear on the door? Why, yes, it is. We're in the high school guidance counselor's office. And guess what? I'm your guidance counselor. In this segment of the show, we like to rectify a wrongdoing of the past. Whether that was maybe you being a bully and you want to apologize, or if you want to say fuck you to someone, you can yield this time however you'd like. And then at the end, you're cured of ever being haunted of anything from your high school past ever again. And then, for sharing, you get a Jolly Rancher. And if your blood sugar is low, please have a Mott's apple juice.
Okay, there is something that happened in high school that when I think about it, and it'll like come to me when I'm doing the dishes, I get a fucking chill up my spine. So I was in another improv group in my high school. It was an extracurricular improv group in a local theater, for a local theater, community theater. And so we had keys to the basement of this community theater. And I had been told by other guys in the group, I was the only girl, that, so I had, okay, to back up, he was never really my boyfriend, but he was a crush of mine and we used to kiss. He was my first kiss, actually. This guy who was my first kiss, he and I were in the same improv group, and he was now seeing this other girl, and I was like, didn't really have any animosity towards him, but I think that there was something there of like, maybe I just felt a little territorial. So he had brought his new girlfriend to the basement of this community theater, and they were hooking up. And because, we're in high school, we have nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go. And you have a key to a basement of someplace, like you're taking your girlfriend there.
Yeah,
and so I had heard from the guys that they had walked in on them.
Yeah.
And all this stuff. And I was like, oh my God, that's so funny. So I told everyone this story, thinking nothing of it. Just thinking like, oh my God, this hilarious thing happened. Because when they told me the story, I was like, this is so funny. Not once thinking about this girl that I go to high school with, that now I have brought this story to our high school, because also this was like an extracurricular, you know what I mean? It was outside. It was in the community. Now I'm bringing it into our community. And then I was
it was outside of the world.
And my ex-kiss man comes up to me and is so mad at me. And he's like, you've been telling everybody this thing. She is so upset. And I like basically just denied it. I think I like blamed some other girl who had been like also like I had told, and she had like kind of encouraged me. This is just mean shit.
Yeah.
Mean shit. And I felt so terrible, and I could not open up to it, and I like could never see that girl in the hallway. I didn't really know her that well, but like every time I saw her, I just felt like sick to my stomach. And I hope to God that both of those people have not, well, now I'm talking about it on the podcast, whatever. Well,
no, now hold on. Now you're owning up to it.
Yes, no, totally.
So that's good.
Yeah.
And also though, like when we are that age and we're dealing like with whatever like insecurity you're dealing with, or whatever thing that you think is funny, you think other people are going to find funny, I do think that that's like not rooted in you being quote unquote bad, you know what I mean?
Right,
like,
no.
The intention was not for you to go and like do something.
No, I was
bad.
being inconsiderate.
Right.
I was being inconsiderate, and I was doing the most, to say the least.
Right.
But I also think it cringes me out, though, still to this day, because I now still get in trouble for that type of shit, which is doing something that I think is funny, but it's mean. Like, that is like where I get into trouble all of the time, where I like drink a little too much, get a little too bold, and being a little too honest about something.
Right.
And I think I'm being funny, but really it's like nobody needs to hear those harsh words.
Right.
Like, and I mean, like, I think that it's gotten better throughout my life, but like I would say that is my biggest, that is my Achilles heel, man. I get too honest.
Look, I think that it's better to get like maybe too honest than to be like a shady bitch that
Yeah, I agree.
Is like a big shit talker behind someone's back. And
yeah,
like,
for sure.
You know,
I think that it's just kind of like, I know that I'm judgmental, and I know like that I wish I were less judgmental, and I also wish that even if I am going to be judgmental, I would keep it to my goddamn self. Because whenever I think about it in the light of the clear blue morning, I'm like, bitch, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. I feel like I was so harshly judged in high school, like all throughout high school, that it has made me, I don't think that I'm a very judgmental person. I think that I have a pretty long leash for like the bullshit that I see or like can handle. But when you cross it, I'm like, I'm just like, I then turn like into the most judgmental bitch. But it takes me a while to get there.
Yeah. I also think if you feel like you've been wronged, in some ways it gives you like permission. Like if somebody gets like a job over you or an opportunity 100%. Or like whatever, then you're like, well, I'm justified, bitch.
Oh, totally. I mean, I spent my whole therapy session this morning, which to me like goes back to my root issues, which so many of it like happened in things that happened in high school, is like my insecurity of feeling like I will never fully be seen, like people will never fully allow me to reach my potential. Like I'm just like repeating all of these cycles that I was in high school, and then me seeing someone that I'm like, and why if I said them? You know what I mean? And it truly feels so primally adolescent to me.
And you think it's like rooted in like you feeling not like people don't see you. You're not being seen.
100%. I'm not being understood. I'm not being seen. Like I still feel like I have the angst of a 15-year-old inside of me. You know? I mean, sometimes I feel that way. Other times it feels way more justified. Other times it feels way more justified than it did then when I'm like, but I've done so much hard work. And I do. And like, you know, in high school, I was such a bad student. And I was so not doing the work that, like, for things to not work out in hindsight, it's like, yeah, honey, of course, because you didn't do your homework. You know what I mean? Oh, you got a D on that test. You didn't study.
Oopsie.
You know?
Oopsie.
You didn't study and you were falling asleep in class. You know?
Ruh-roh. So, how did this happen?
Yeah.
But now you're such a good student, and now that's why all your dreams are going to come true.
I know, isn't that right?
And you're also killing it.
Thanks,
stupid
Sudi.
Bitch. Stupid bitch. Now I'm being honest.
Well, look,
I'm being too honest.
As your guidance counselor, I say, you know, you are fine. You need to release that. You need to let go of that, because at the end of the day, it could be also a lot worse. You could have been spreading like a nasty ass rumor. You hear that all the time, where people are like, you know, there are rumors going around in my high school, like so-and-so had a stinky vagina. There were a lot of stinky vagina rumors going on.
Oh my God.
There were a lot of rumors that I like was a drug dealer. There was a rumor that was going on that a girl in my high school had to wear an eye patch because she would let guys come in her eye. Like, there were just like a bunch of rumors, you know?
And why was she wearing the eye patch? Because the eye patch, that's not a rumor. You either see a girl wearing an eye patch or not.
Do we think someone came in her eye? Maybe.
I gotta say, if I had gotten a weird eye injury and I had to wear an eye patch, my ass would be like, yeah, somebody came in my eye.
Yeah.
That would be my little line.
Yeah, why are you wearing the eye patch? Line. Jizz. Yeah.
You gotta have a little line.
You gotta have a little
in a situation. Like when I already did one of my little lines, which was like when I was getting my teeth fixed. I would always make the joke of like, I got implants. It's like, I'm not fucking actually off the cuff. This is all just like hack bits that I'm doing. Being a bitch is one of my hack bits. It's one of my go-tos.
I love bitch, Sudi.
See, and that's the problem, is that sometimes people love it. And that is also encourages me.
Yeah, encourages.
Which is happened to me at a party the other day, which was like, I felt like I was kind of being really fun. And then I got a little too real, and then Was
it at my party?
No, girl.
No, girl.
It wasn't. No, it actually wasn't.
And then you got a little too real, and then the next day you woke up. The next day I'm like,
no, there was no
one ever says anything.
No repercussions in this one moment except for my own heart and guilt.
Well,
because I'm older and I should fucking know better.
No, but sometimes, you know what? Sometimes
I'm my mother. What can I say? I'm my mother.
Sometimes we come on the podcast to find out, hey, guess what? You're exactly as you were when you were 16.
I mean, I figured out my hair, I figured out my teeth, but not much else has changed. Truly. Truly.
If you could go back in time and give your high school self some advice, what would it be?
It would be that I am doing the right stuff. Just like keep being confident. Like, which I think that I always, despite kind of a lot of my physical attributes, I was always blindingly confident, and I think that the my confidence has always been my biggest asset. It has helped me through, and confidence for no reason sometimes. Delusional confidence, but like I think that I would tell myself that like that is going to serve me and just like keep going. Just like no, it's going to be good.
Did you ever doubt that?
I definitely felt that it was very scary when I graduated NYU and knew I wanted to be a professional comedian and writer, and that I didn't know when or if that was ever going to happen. But I think that throughout my life, I got little confirmations that I was good, and I kind of just kept going to the net, even though I had setbacks and had like deep periods of having like absolutely no money. I always kind of got little breadcrumbs of, even if it was like doing a really good show,
Yeah.
where I was like, I'm just gonna keep. Nothing ever told me not to keep doing it.
Right.
And then I fucking got lucky one day.
Worked out.
Which I think is how it kind of works. One day you just kind of gotta, you just need to be prepared, and then one day you're gonna get lucky and you're gonna be prepared.
There you go. From God's mouth, honey, to our ears.
Sherry.
Did you go to prom?
Yeah, I went to prom.
What'd
I
you
went
wear?
to prom my sophomore year, even too.
Really?
Yeah, with the man I later betrayed with my gossipy tongue.
Oh, that spite that tongue.
I know.
What did you wear all 3 years?
My first year, I went to New York on a little trip with my friend, and her mom took us to New York, and we went to the Anthropology at 30 Rock.
Gorgeous.
And I went straight to the sales rack, and I found for $78.
Love that number.
A sale chiffon Anthropology hippie dress that I was like cream colored and had flowers on it. It had kind of one of those like crushed velvet ribbons.
Beautiful.
Remember that was like a thing?
Yes.
And I remember calling my mom and asking her if I could buy it because I didn't have enough money for it. And so like my friend's mom would buy it, and then my mom would like pay her back or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I loved it. It was like from New York, and it was like my style. It was like indie girl or whatever. And then my boobs were way too big for it. It had like triangle, like
top.
It was like umpire waist,
Yes.
and then had like 2 triangles for the titties, which I didn't notice in my excitement. And so my mom saw me try it on, and she was like, "You're spilling out of this."
So then what'd you do?
My mom got ribbon that matched the umpire waist and sewed it to the edges of the triangle to make them bigger for my big old titties.
That's so nice.
And you couldn't even tell that she had done that. And then I did my hair kind of in like a 60s kind of half up, half down. And then when my date saw me, he said, "You look like Jenny Lewis."
I love that.
And that was the biggest compliment, because I was like, that's all I want to do is look like Jenny Lewis.
Yeah, that's a perfect compliment.
I was always trying to be different. And then that was a hit, but then the next 2 proms, I was like, I'm indie, I'm cool. And it was like, wrong, flop.
Why?
Unflattering.
What was junior year?
Junior year was a short, black. Actually, this was fashion, and I actually wish that I still had it. I think it was BCBG, but we got it like at an outlet. And it was like high up on the collarbone and then completely out, like in a big dramatic skirt, knee length. And then it had like some sort of like textured taffeta at the bust that kind of looked like feathers. And it was black and gold brocade.
Okay, I don't hate that.
And I was with a guy who was a friend of mine who kind of like was so lucky that I had asked him to prom. I had 2 best friends that were both men. Neither of them asked me to prom. I ended up asking one of them, and I was so upset about it. And I was like, "You're so lucky my ass asked you to prom, because we're going to have fun. I'm going to get you a corsage or whatever." And he was just like such a boy and like didn't really know how to handle the situation. And so then he immediately just like looked at my shirt and my dress, and he went like this in like a voice. He went like, "Bird." One of the like most like, you know, like Ermiger Gershbrams, like when a guy is just like spazzing out and has to do like bird, and then he did that all night.
That's honestly hell.
It
That's
was hell.
Literal hell.
It was hell. And I wore like my sunglasses in all my pictures, and I actually looked so fucking cool. And he was like,
I like
Bird!
that.
And I was like, dude, you're
Don't
so
call me
fucking
Bird.
lucky that my ass asked you to prom.
Oh my God, Bird. And then what did you wear senior year?
I we went to the Neiman Marcus outlet in Pennsylvania. Because the thing in my high school was that there was a Macy's, which was like the only place that you could buy like a nice dress.
Right.
And everybody went to the Macy's, and so you might have the same dress as somebody else. And so my mom and I were always like, we're going to the King of Prussia Mall, like when the sales are. And we're like, hunting.
I love the KP.
So we went to the Neiman Marcus outlet, and I got kind of like a psychedelic. It was very brightly colored. It was like I wanted to go for a Grecian look, and then I ended up with like a very like bold, kind of a Trixie Mattel bold mod print. And the dress was way too big, but I think it was like $25. And my mom was like, this is a great fabric. And like, it's a very high quality dress, but I think it was like a size 16 or something.
So then did she tailor it?
And so then she tailored it, but it kind of never quite got as small as it could have been. And then I also did like a very 60s poof.
Yeah. I love that though.
Now girls, I feel like high school girls, like they're wearing like Reformation. They're wearing a sleek black dress.
And they're doing like a middle part with like a sleeked bun.
They look like fucking Nev Campbell.
I know. They look like how we look now. But then
so classy.
There is a TikTok though where it's like this person will rate like teens in Houston or Dallas or Atlanta, like any of these like bigger southern cities, and those looks are insane. I will show you them. They're like the huge gowns and like matching with their date. Like my high school, I went to prom my sophomore year as well.
Okay.
But I went to prom my sophomore and my junior year, famously got uninvited my senior year. But I did have a really cute dress that I was going to wear my senior year.
Were you doing like Jessica McClintock, like cupcake dresses? Was that like a thing?
I
in,
was
like,
doing
Georgetown?
Cupcake dresses in middle school.
Okay, yeah.
I had like Betsy Johnson cupcake
Absolutely,
dresses.
had to. That was always my dream, but I kind of never quite went there.
It was fun, but it was very fun. But I remember my sophomore year, I went with a junior who ended up becoming my boyfriend.
Hot.
And I wore a white eyelet like dress, cotton
to prom.
Well, hold on, it was a white eyelet dress that was like shorter. Our prom was more casual. Some people did more casual.
Rich people are allowed to be casual.
This
is the truth.
But hold on, it was white eyelet, and then it had black lace, like borders.
Oh,
so
yes.
It was like a black
kind of like
lace.
almost like punk a little.
Yeah, it was like it was striped. It was black and white striped.
Yeah.
So it was like white and
very Amy
white
Winehouse.
eyelet, black lace striped. Exactly.
That's cool.
And then my junior year.
Tell me, bitch.
I got this dress here in LA. I got it on a trip when I went to tour USC, a school that LOL anyone remotely thought I could get into with my badass GPA. But my mom got it for me. It was silver silk, kind of like a high cut, low neck, and the back came together, kind of like a halter, and the back came together and tied. So like it was like
sexy.
It was sexy.
Was there a conversation surrounding your prom looks of like, this is too much, Greta, you're showing too much skin, what is your father gonna say, blah blah blah?
My dad who even knows if he knew I was
she's
there.
25.
But yeah, literally. One time my dad was like, you can drive, and I was like 19, you know? And my mom was like, also,
your mom was like, you've got the body.
Yeah, my mom, literally, that's what my mom would say. My mom was like, all the time, you have a gorgeous figure. You have a gorgeous figure.
My mom was always like, you don't have the bodies of your friends. You can't wear things like
that.
Absolutely.
Well, my mom would also say to me, because I also have big tits, my mom would say, you don't have a soccer girl body. You don't have
soccer girl.
You don't have
oh my God, that loaded statement.
Yeah.
You don't have a soccer girl.
You don't have a lacrosse girl body. We would call it wasp body. It was like, you know, the girls that were kind of had A cups, broad shoulders. Yeah. They looked good in polo, and they looked good in the slim cut polo shirt that, by the way, no one looks good in anymore. Anyway, but this dress was a sexy dress. Like, my date could just pull it, untie it, and it would fall.
Did he pop it on the dance floor?
No.
Could you feel nub?
We like fucked later that night, I think.
Oh my God. My friends and I, my senior year every single one of us was with a friend. Okay? Nobody is with a boyfriend.
Oh no.
But guess what? Did that stop us?
No.
We had my group of girlfriends had this huge group of guy friends. We were constantly giving them boners. They were not our boyfriends, but it was like a friendly thing to do. I didn't, but there was some sexing. And so we were all with these guys that were our friends. And I remember us deciding in the bathroom that we were going to have a competition amongst the three of us to see who would give the guy who was our friend that we were dancing with a boner first.
Love that.
So we're all in our silk. I don't fucking remember. We're all in our like silk dresses, hands on the floor.
Yeah.
Fucking Usher is playing. Yeah. And these guys don't fucking know what to do. They're probably like coming in their jeans. Like, these were not like, they weren't like, God bless them, but they were boys. They were like, bird. I mean, this wasn't that guy. I was not doing that to that guy. This is a different guy. Actually, I went to senior year. I've talked about this on another podcast, so, and he follows me on Instagram, but I won't talk about it again, but he knows how I feel about him.
Sudi, the last question of the show is, what was your senior superlative? Did you have one? Was that a thing at your school?
I had two.
Yeah, of course, you're an overachiever. What were they?
Most likely to be on SNL and most likely to be president.
Okay, and honestly, both are coming true in my book.
Isn't that crazy?
Okay, I don't understand. Like, was it most likely to be on SNL a thing that was like common in high schools? It apparently it was, because we hear people are like, yeah, it was like SNL. Like, I mean, I guess like when we were in high school, it was like peak culture. But
I think it was just like a thing that
meant like
maybe was like instead
like,
of class
thing.
Yeah, I think instead of like class clown, it was that. I did do a Sarah my impression of Tina Fey's impression of Sarah Palin. I did do it at a pep rally my senior year, and another guy named Greg Benjamin did his Obama impression, which was really good. And I basically just went out there and just said SNL lines. Like, I was just like went out there and was like, I can see Russia from my house, and I was like dressed like her, and my civics teacher was just sitting on the sideline absolutely laughing his ass off. He was like, this is the best thing that I've ever done.
Shout out to him.
Loved it. Shout out to him, Mr. Tomashek. We called him B-Mosh.
Shout out to B-Mosh.
Shout out to B-Mosh, who lives across the street from my parents.
I love that. Oh my God, Sudi, thank you so much for coming on the show. I had such a fabulous time, as always.
I had a fabulous time.
Where can my little classmates follow all things Sudi Green?
I'm just at Sudi Green on all socials.
We love that.
On my Hotmail.
On the Hotmail. Thank you guys so much for listening to another incredibly iconic and important episode of Senior Superlatives, where we do the hard work of unpacking our trauma from the past. As always, give me 5 stars, give me an incredible review, and take your parents' phone and subscribe them to this show so that I get more of you to listen. And as I say every week, stay cool, never change. Until next time, ciao.
That was a Headgum podcast.